resistances and we're flexing the wrist. Okay? And it should, if you have a palmaris longus, it should pop up and it should be right in the middle and it should be relatively superficial. Okay? So when you're doing this manual muscle test, you need to first make sure they have one before you try to give them a manual muscle test grade. Okay? Again, oh my gosh, you guys, I will have been practicing for 30 years this December. Oh my God, I'm not that old. I have never seen anyone in my entire life with a palmaris longus strain. You know, there's just other muscles that are going to get mucked up in the forearm over the palmaris longus.
Just to make sure I'm looking at, is it the bigger ones than this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a very lovely one, Tessa.
Yeah.
You are not looking good, my friend. I'm not going to test you. Tessa!
What do you do?
So, if you get that on the test, you need to show me how you would test for one, but if the person doesn't have one, they hardly can't. Yeah.
I gave us that on our
Then you just need to show me that you would know how to test for it.
Do we document?
Present, not present.
Yeah, so that would be absent. I don't have it. Okay.
Super weak.
Hard-working woman. Alice is on your end? What? Oh,
We determined I do have one. I just wasn't squeezing from that.
well, the other thing is you may not see it until you apply resistance, so you do need to apply resistance to have it come up. So what I'm going to have you do is bring your thumb and index finger together, and then I want you to bend your wrist for me. There you go, nice. Now, I'm going to try to pull you out of that position and pull your palm apart, and don't let me. I won't actually pull your palm apart, I promise. And relax. Good. Okay? So that's palmaris longus.
So it's like you're pulling the thenar and hypothenar.
Apart, and I'm pulling the wrist out of flexion. Okay, so I'm doing those together.
Okay.
Yep. Now, we've already talked about what muscles flex the MCP, right? What were those? The lumbricals and interosseae are going to be the primary flexor of the MCP. So we're now going to test the Flexor Digitorum Superficialis and Flexor Digitorum Longus. Okay? Now, Superficialis ends on the middle phalanx, right? So what are we going to, what motion are we going to test if it's attaching to the middle phalanx?
PIPs.
So PIPs, okay? Because it crosses that joint. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have my hand here, and I want you to bend your fingers right over. There you go, perfect. And have you come back out for me. Okay, and then bring them back up. Pull them there, don't let me pull them out. Yeah, me fighting a personal trainer, not a good thing. Now, for the Flexor Digitorum Longus, that muscle is going to attach to the distal phalanx, so that we're going to resist across the distal IP joint.
Is that the same?
Profundus. Sorry, profundus. Thank you. Now, the trick here is that crease does not line up, right? So if you're going to test them as a group, you need to come in here, which now I have my elbow in her face, okay? So you can either do it this way, or you can test one finger at a time, okay?
What do you recommend?
It really depends on the person, and it depends on how important the test is for my exam, okay? If someone, the only time I would, now remember, I'm coming from an orthopedic background, so if I needed to test that muscle, it's going to be because someone jammed a finger, okay, and has problems in one finger, so then I would just test one finger at a time, okay? But you can do it this way, okay? Now go ahead and bend your, there you go. Okay, now hold it there. Oh my God, like, how can you do that? And relax. Okay? So I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you do it as a group or if you do it individually. But superficialis, you're resisting at the middle phalanx. And for the profundus, you're resisting at the distal phalanx. your stabilizing hand moves. Okay? So we've done palmaris longus, and we've done Flexor Digitorum, Superficialis, and Profundus. Now for the extensors, we've talked about that the interosseae, both the palmar and the dorsal, are contributing.
What about the radialis and ulnaris?
So I'm gonna do
extensors
Extensor
and then
Digitorum because that's another finger one. The other ones work together pretty slick, so I'm skipping a little bit. Okay. So we've talked about that the interosseae, both the palmar and the dorsal, are what are contributing to extension of the IP joints. And if you remember, there's no extension in those joints beyond neutral. And so we're testing them when we do that combined test. But now we need to test extension at the MCP. Okay? So what I want you to do is, I'm going to hold you here. I want you to go ahead and just raise your fingers, but I don't want you to have your fingers straight. I want you to go ahead and let them curl as they go ahead and curl. There you go. And then, but bring your knuckles up. Okay, now hold them there. I got you on one. Go ahead and relax. So they don't have to be curled, but just relax. What I don't want to do, I don't want to see them with their fingers straight. Okay? So just relaxed fingers. You're resisting on the proximal phalanx and stabilizing the metacarpals. Sorry, that pillow's not in a very good spot, is it? So we're stabilizing here and resisting there for Extensor Digitorum. So I'm going to have you practice those three, because then what we're left with are the Flexor carpi ulnaris, the Flexor carpi radialis, and the Extensor carpi